what it could possibly maybe a little bit more jungle focused. The Yunara, good choice, is going to be banned away, not giving over that first pick to Hope for some team fight potential in the hyper carry style there. But AL still need to answer with a first pick of their own.
Talia up on the board. I think that's kind of the key one for me, but Gwen as well for Flandre. They're saying, hey, Cube got his moment in the sun in game 1. We're turning that off going into game number 2. We want to get Flandre on something comfortable. And, you know, Gwen I still consider to be the top tier top laner. I think that's still your B1 caliber pick. I think she can really tear apart a lot of comps, and Flandre more than capable of being able to kind of take it to a team like WE with that champion.
And I mean, Xin Zhao being open, you have to take it. Probably strongest jungler right now still left on the table. Very curious if this Gwen pick is going to play out for them, because WE will find a strong combo here. You can go with a couple different options as well. We still see some things available for Karis to go that can really enable that jungle mid synergy as well.
Yeah, I mean, Talia is still up. It's his most played this split. It's been incredibly highly prioritized, but it's the Jace in the early part of the draft here that ends up being selected. I don't believe this has been played by either Karis or Cube across this split. So this is a very, very aggressive pick. And, you know, we'll see how that ends up playing out. I assume this is going to go mid lane for Karis, but again, you don't really know for sure. For now, it's going to be the Jarvan Talia lock-in. I mean, what a start to the draft for AL. You wanted to bounce back in game 2. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's feeling really good for the first trio. It's crazy, though. You think about it, like, why would they give the Gwen priority, B1 to Flandre? Well, if you think back to the beginning of the year, he was literally winning them games with his picks, his style from that top lane. And while we're a far cry from that, maybe opting into that one here, going into this kind of top trio setup for AL, right now you also need a bit of an answer for WE before going into that second phase. It's going to be the Karis Akali. I don't know how I like that into the Talia. We'll see how it all works out, though.
Yeah, I'm going to say I assume for now it's Karis' Akali. This is a double flex if you really want to make it that. Akali can play top lane. You know, I haven't seen Cube's Akali. I'm not sure I'd be too excited to see Cube's Akali, but I would imagine that it's going to be that Jace top lane as the answer to Gwen here, kind of keeping that matchup a little bit more, you know, ranged and, you know, at bay, at least for the early game. This is a very interesting start to the draft for WE, because it's clear that they're just saying, well, AL's going to want to go for a lot of these go button tools. Jarvan and Talia are going to have so much priority. Love the Jarvan matchup into Xin Zhao, by the way. But we are just going to feel comfortable. Like, Jace has so much early power. Akali gives us an out in the late game. We want comfort for this game. Like, if that's the direction, game 2, maybe final game of the regular season, I can totally understand that.
Now, in the second phase, we did get the Renata ban from WE. I think rightfully so, could really just set up this entire comp on the other side. But still some big engage-centered picks on the table. There's the Alistar ban. I was going to call that one out. The Braum is still there as well. See if we dip into the likes of the Leona and things along those lines. But we did get that ADC focus from AL into the safety pick of the Ezreal for Taeyoon. So he's not going to have that to fall back on.
Yeah, I think I'm specifically looking for something like Rakan here. We will see if that ends up being like a priority for either of these two teams. Kael has always been an incredible Rakan player, and Vampire really favoring that champion as well. But you're right. I think that there are a myriad of options available. You called out the Braum, you know, kind of goes along with the Lucian, which will be the lock-in here for WE. Would not be surprised at all to see some sort of, you know, Xayah Rakan come in as the answer for Open Kael. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen some very good drafts tonight so far, and if they go with the Lovers duo, I think it really just locks in AL's comp as a whole. The Lucian pick here can still be paired up with a couple different things. You maybe are expecting that Braum in this situation, but really following through on what that 2v2 can do will be very important for WE. As we already get the first half of the Lovers duo locked in, the Xayah Rakan is the expected duo for the bot lane of AL.
They're so good at this duo. It's insane. These two have really kind of kept this duo relevant in the LPL for a little while. It's still very strong, and I think it should be a little bit more prioritized than maybe it already is. But, I mean, look at this comp. Look at the options for AL. I mean, what can't this comp do? They can engage, they can disengage, they can play fast, they can play slow. It actually is going to be the Leona instead of the Braum as the final pick here for WE. I assumed it would be something that could be a bit more defensive because of your Jace Akali solo lanes, but no, we're going all in, and you know
They just
what?
say we go in or we
I'm here for
go
it.
to the game 3. That's you know, I was gonna say go home, but that doesn't work here. But they are just going all in, and I can appreciate that against WE, especially after that game 1. We've known AL to be able to bounce back in series, and maybe they're just saying, let's stop some of that kind of bounce back momentum and just charge headlong into AL. But AL are a tough beast. We've seen them ramp back up into form here towards the end of the split, and I don't expect them to go out without a roar.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope, especially with this draft, that we see the best version of them here in game number 2. I think AL has really, you know, won the draft, if you want to kind of coin that term. I think that their comp is much easier to execute. I think their scaling is much easier to get to with Gwen and Xayah into the late game. The Xin Zhao Jace is going to need to really be proactive in the early game. I think Xin Zhao has a hard time taking advantage of Jarvan. A lot of pressure is on Monki, but, you know, he's used to that pressure. He's probably, his back's pretty strong from carrying them, so I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, at this point, he's developed a lot of those back muscles for sure. But it really is an interesting story between what him and Tarzan have been trying to do for both these teams. Both these guys lead from the front, and it matters now more than ever. This is the final series of the regular season for both of these organizations before they go off on their different ways. AL waiting for their opponents to choose who they are going to battle in the first round of the playoffs, whereas WE, they need this momentum to get into that playoff play-in with a little bit of positivity. Can they do so? Can they get this 2-0 over AL to finish their season? We're going to find out real soon.
Continued appreciation from the fan base here for both of these teams as we get into a very, very pivotal game number 2. WE, I think they are, you know, we've talked about teams on a timer throughout today, throughout, you know, multiple days here in the LPL. I think WE is really on a timer in this one. I think it's going to be difficult for this team to really deal with all the tools that AL have in the late game if they get there. The attention is going to be on Monki, but that's been the case for WE throughout this entire year. I don't think they would have it any other way.
And I just got to ask you, how are we feeling about the Jace Akali solo lanes? Because, you know, I wouldn't say this is something we get all the time, but we have seen our solo lanes be willing to kind of dip back into this flexibility here.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a non-believer.
Okay. But it's okay, you know, if you are.
You know, Cube Jace doesn't inspire the most confidence in what I'm expecting from game 2. I think the Akali into Taliyah matchup is very, very tough for the Akali. I think that there are a lot of pitfalls that can very easily be, you know, triggered there if Shanks ends up playing aggressive. And you should also just have priority in general coming out of the mid lane as well, which makes it a lot more difficult for Xin Zhao to play. I think you need to be able to get that tempo early on somewhere. I think it's likely going to have to be in the top lane through Cube with this range advantage, but I think Flandra's going to have a pretty easy time just taking it easy up here.
We are seeing both junglers path up towards this top side, so that's going to be the major focus for both of them. If they do want to get something going after their first clear is finished, who's going to win on that Scuttle Crab fight? All the goodness there. I will say the comp from AL looks omega strong. You can have that 9 times out of 10. Xin Zhao is my only point. I'm like, okay, I could see a world where Monki gets an advantage and just runs the jungle on the Xin Zhao, and that changes the way the map state works for WE. But speaking of the way things work out for WE, they are getting traded on pretty heavily by the Lovers duo in bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's the advantage here of the Lovers duo, is that their lane's going to be so strong. We're already seeing a bit of the problem here for Akali. It's going to be difficult for her to farm, and that will not get better. Flandre, though, could be in danger.
Cube! Looking for the solo, does end up getting the flash out and takes the turret shot. That feels a bit bad because now Tarzan can punish.
So is Monki
here though too. 2v2 kicking off. Cube has a little bit more health, realizes he needs to back away. Monkey's looking for an angle. Wind becomes lightning. He goes in for the fight, and this is where this fight actually turns out to be nothing, but still a push out of pressure from Monki, which means he'll get Scuttle Crab.
Yes, a great play here, bot lane.
Hope going all in on Taeyoon. Taeyoon barriering early. Now Hope has the flash. He gets killed. Vampire takes him down, sucks his life right out of his body, and now Kael is about to join him. He gets the kill back at least. Vampire won't follow through anymore. It's summoner spells everywhere. It's feathers flying, and now it's 1-1.
That is 7 summoner spells burned in that exchange on the bottom side of the map. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh no, Cube.
Tarzan just fully able to get a combo on, but luckily Cube saved just enough mana for the hammer swing. That is a greedy back, my friend. Okay. Okay. He realizes. He knows.
He's so delayed, though.
He is very delayed, but Taeyoon's coming up to this top side. So this is a really good lane swap coming through from both sides, honestly.
Yeah, it's Monki who's actually doing a good job of pulling some pressure away from Flandre. He actually just takes a bit of an exchange against the Gwen here. Down on the bot side.
Misses the point blank. Wind becomes lightning. He's trying to run over to the TP of Cube. He does get back over there. Again, potentially trying to hold that, but Dragon is spawning now. Will be the Cloud Dragon first.
Well, Mazel, if you were worried about another 15-minute game with 0 kills, I think that fear has been alleviated. I think we are getting some action here in game number 2, which is really fun for both of these sides, as Hope just has to try and survive here in the tower.
Okay. That's a dangerous dive for sure that W are willing to pull off there. They will spot Kael trying to come back over and save his life. Meanwhile, a dive being set up by AL on the bot side as he comes for Cube. Cube is not going to be able to get out unless he flashes. Is not going to flash. Is not going to get out. He does flash in the very end. Does separate away from the snip and from Tarzan. Gets a tower shot back on Tarzan too. Really nicely done from Cube. And man, this guy's been on one today. He's like, this is the last series of the split. I'm showing out.
Yeah, he's playing better than I've seen him play in quite a while as Kael takes a bit of a trade on the top side, but this has been great from Cube. He's generated a nice lead for himself. He's avoided quite a few ganks, absorbed a lot of pressure. At least a good early game so far. That's the part you need to be good at for Jace, so definitely excited to see that for him.
Sometimes the journeymen of the LPL decide to show up. I mean, this is a guy who has had multiple stints with WE. Obviously, his longest tenure was with Rare Adam back in the day. But, you know, that is also our producer, yes, as I hear him say. But it's been a story of trying to find his feet under him. And I think sometimes all those conversations, all those questions do come his way of the consistency. But, hey, today so far he's had a pretty damn good one. Now, when we look at the objective setup, nobody started up the Dragon. We did get those early kills, but we will have grubs coming up. So there's a possibility of trades.
Oh, and speaking of trades, Taeyoon.
He just steps a little bit too far. That's the exhaust coming out. Maybe they want to follow through on this one. They don't do so, but that should leave out all the pressure for AL to get the grubs.
Man, this is why Hope and Kael have just been so good on this Lovers duo. It's because the 2v2 has been so consistent for them. Karis gets some shove in to at least play around this Dragon. There were some pings going on around Dragon from Monki, but right now he's just full invading the camps from the side of AL, taking that red buff, taking the entire bot side of the map. This can actually turn into an exchange. Mid-jungle are both here, and they're trapped.
I mean, Monki's going to try to fight. He's level 6 now. Can maybe dodge out a lot of the damage. Goes for the flash. 3-talent strike play on a Shanks. Shanks going to flash over the wall. They should have known, but Karis goes in. Perfect execution, and it's just that. The namesake of the Akali coming out clutch. As double flag and drag coming out from Tarzan. Monki gets slam dunked by the Cataclysm. Now Hope trying to get a big feather recall there as they have a lot of damage in. Vampire's completely away from the rest of his team, and Cube is just going to be taken down by Hope. AL have found everything they wanted here in this scuffle. Karis will escape with a nice shirt, can flip out the backside, but the fact that Hope got a kill is huge.
That is massive for Hope to be on the board in terms of where things are at. But honestly, it's not terrible for WE either. I think Karis in particular being able to pick up a kill early in that exchange does make things pretty playable for him moving forward. He needs to get accelerated to be able to kind of outpace this Talia in terms of map pressure, and definitely capable of doing that now. This looks pretty bad for WE as a setup, and I think AL are playing it like that's the case, but I mean, Monki has so much damage at this point in the game. He just flashes right on top of Shanks, forces him to get out of there, or else he's just going to instantly die. But Karis with the flash follow makes that very, very easy to be able to execute down. Tarzan could have been in a lot of danger here, but again, Vampire not able to land that Zenith Blade. The damage coming in from Flandre cannot be underestimated here on the Gwen. We got to play in the box, though.
Taeyoon, what happened, my friend? We'll have to see how that all happened, but he goes down. Flash and barrier burned.
Oh, no. Man, Taeyoon. We were starting to get excited. AL picking up the grubs as well, all three of them. WE will start up on the Dragon here because of all of that pressure, but losing a kill and giving over grubs, certainly not ideal. That gold lead that WE had generated for themselves definitely evaporated at this point, and unfortunately for WE, you need to really keep your foot on the gas. I don't think this team outscales, so
yeah.
At least you're picking up the Dragon.
Part of me likes that they're playing it like this. Oh, we got to look in this.
Oh, he just feels so confident. Yeah,
at least he
just feels so good.
Oh, no!
Actually, I can't blame him for that. I can't fault him for that. You know what? I would have went for the same play. I can't even be mad. Just ended up not being able to make it work and ends up getting punished a bit here by Shanks and by Kael as things go awry. As Monki gets chunked out here, you know, walking into Shanks once more. So much action happening across the map.
Yeah, very true. As Hope, through all that action, now does have his Essence Reaver completed, so some strength in that fighting, and I guess that brings up the next conversation of, I mean, a while till objectives, obviously, but it's more so who starts winning these in-between fights, because I think we're really going to start seeing this Tarzan-Shanks duo become lively.
Yeah, that's the scary part, is the odd number fights that AL can create because of this macro advantage with Talia mid as opposed to the Akali. You can really use that Weaver's Wall to your biggest effectiveness, having Talia basically anywhere. I would say that right now AL definitely have pressure in the mid game. I think this is the part of the game where it becomes more difficult for WE to play it out. Now, one thing to keep note of is that power spike for Lucian at one item. If he is going to be able to get there relatively quickly, Taeyoon's at least going to be able to pump out some damage, but certainly favor AL basically from now going forward as long as they stay on the gas.
I just feel like you hate your life in every central word as Lucian in any of these fights, but if you have the follow through with the rest of the team and you pick Kael, maybe it doesn't matter as Monki gets himself on the board with a kill. Hope taking the 1v1. They left Taeyoon. Taeyoon's getting 1v1 by Hope, now going to have the culling on the back end. Wind doesn't become lightning. The Blade Caller going to be saved to the last here. And it's just some heavy trades between both teams in this game. Dead even 11 minutes in.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy part, is that with all of this chaos, the gold is actually still perfectly fine. It feels like some of these plays are going in favor of AL, but then you get these small picks in favor of WE that keep them in it, that keep them pushing. Right now it's just Monki clearing wave under mid lane tower. The dream of quite a few junglers to be able to pick that up, but most notably Sundered Sky completed here for Tarzan. This Jarvan is very strong right now if they do take a fight despite being down in gold.
So where does it get better for WE? I mean, we've talked about the kind of double-edged sword they have where they keep the pedal of the metal. It looks really good. Does Akali, Jace have a home in these fights? Because we've already talked about Lucian really struggling, putting in damage in these fights, but their saving grace has to be this Jace and Akali, right?
It's why I really wanted to highlight earlier how important it was that Karis picked up that kill in that fight, because I think getting the Akali into a good spot could be huge, and we can see that here. Man, Shanks just takes so much damage, he's going for it!
Gets the solo bolo! Karis has come to play!
Oh, it's stylish from Karis getting the solo kill onto Shanks, and WE feel empowered to invade now. This fight's not over.
They don't have the TP from Karis. This might be an overextension from WE as Flandre comes over the wall, goes for the fight. Double knockup? No, it's just going to be the one. The Grand Entrance is used. They do have Monki having popped his Crescent Guard. Tarzan looking for an angle over the wall. Goes for it. Slam dunk straight onto 2. No hot pot delivery, but it's going to be delivered nonetheless, and Vampire is going to be caught out by the rest of AL. Flandre gets his kill as now Weaver's Wall from Shanks is going to come over and claim Monki, and AL use some of that connectivity to make it happen.
Mazel, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind if I watch this team get one real nice play immediately into inting one more time. We've seen this. It's already on repeat for me in my brain. Obviously, congrats to Karis for being able to pick up that solo kill, but just no need for the overextension. You're absolutely right. No teleport from the Akali to make that play happen, and the 4v4 doesn't go your way. So, you know, AL continuing to keep the gold even.
Has his tradition. Oh, we get to watch the slow-mo. Take down Shanks. What beautiful mastery from Karis. And this is the reason why he picked this one. The 100-0 assassin gameplay.
really was perfectly played from Karis. I mean, just about as good as you can look on that champ. So he's going to need to continue that form. He is the carry right now. He's got the Rocket Belt completed. Spot those Merc Treads. He is the gold lead, or at the very least, the gold neutrality here for Team WE. He's just hit level 11. He's going to need to continue to really keep that pressure on. If WE can play around this Akali, the champion can really take over in the late game. But again, Shanks caught.
This is the side lane pressured Cube. He gets the kill. Okay, there's the response coming out, though. Kael wants to take the engage, doesn't go for it. Big pick on a Shanks who can't stop getting picked in the side lane.
Shanks is just not having a good game on this Talia right now. Consistently out of position. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, very much so from game number 1 as well. It's just been rough from Shanks as Taeyoon once again tries to get some damage down, but you need to be able to survive. One of the big bonuses from this comp for Talia, and one of the big reasons you pick it, is because of that side lane pressure, and all of that's been in favor of WE instead.
As indeed. As now Dragon is spawning. We do have Rift Herald coming up as well in 10 seconds. Maybe some trades coming through, but it's like WE want to contest over the Dragon side of the map.
Yeah, it certainly makes a lot of sense. Dragon is up, certainly more valuable for WE right now than the Herald is. Stacking those dragons could be huge, but Tarzan understands that as well. They want to try and posture around this situation. There's a ton of poke from WE, though. They can just get down enough. Perhaps that could be enough for Karis to TP in and really take over.
He does have that option available to him, but it would be everybody showing up to the fight. A lot of damage can be done in a short amount of time by WE, and they're going to rush the Dragon here. AL moving over.
Karis waiting to TP. You can see him sitting in the bush on the top side as Monki takes this Dragon. We'll see it go down. This looks like could even be a flip. Engage.
Vampire tries to go in. Everything's been used by Vampire. He's by himself. Dragon was the focus from WE. A bit split focus here. Karis trying to find his angle, trying to find his moment. Monki gets engaged on now. Taeyoon's on the backside of the fight, getting dunked on. Cataclysm going through. Karis gets taken down. Monki gets 1 kill back. Doesn't get much else, though. But the hammer slammer from Cube might not be enough either. Tarzan does get the kill at the end. And AL, they take almost everybody from WE in that fight.
It's so slow from WE. Everything's so disconnected. We're going to get to see it in the replay, but this is a huge problem for teams near the bottom of Group Ascend, as it just doesn't really feel like they have everything together when they press that go button. Karis ends up dashing with the perfect execution into the Cataclysm from the Jarvan and gets stuck. Again, we're going to get a replay here. This setup is already quite bad for Team WE. Vampire full engages to try to keep Tarzan out of the pit, but at this point he's completely sacrificing his life because there is no way to play this out, and once Monki ends up getting charmed, this fight has to get delayed. The flash does need to be burned by Flandre in order to make it happen, but at this point Karis is the only threat to be able to take over. Taeyoon's getting collapsed on, and he just jumps into the Cataclysm and just instantly dies to Flandre. It's a nightmare for WE. Cube at least able to pull something back here, but Tarzan able to make his way out in the flash onto Taeyoon to secure the kill. It's gorgeously played from AL, but it's a big mistake from WE, and when you look forward with that, we're still in a gold neutrality.
Tarzan haters in shambles. My new age jungle king, as yeah, Shanks. He's the butt of the joke in this game at this point, as he is completely taking down the side lane again. We'll go down for the 5th time. AL trying to keep their head above water, but 1,000 gold down just about as WE take down the side lane turrets.
Yeah, this game continues to be really, really close on a knife's edge, but it's Tarzan who's going to be starting up the Herald. The teleport is being committed. They want to contest this.
He's just able to take that one and get out. Karis has a flank, but he needs to be really careful. Flandre can 100-0 him as did you see Tarzan just go into the fight? He just went on the wrong side of the fight there by himself, just maybe trying to buy time for the team. But that's multiple picks that WE have gotten, and now they're almost 2,000 gold up, Kman.
Oh, this is a very precarious game state because we've got Dragon and its Ocean Soul Point spawning in just over 2 minutes here. 2 dragons already acquired for WE. If you're worried about scaling with Jace and with Xinjiao and with Lucian, Ocean Soul can solve a lot of that, but it's Kael once again.
Weaver's Wall coming into. They're going to get Karis out of there. Vampire probably not so lucky. They go into
Shanks. Oh my god, Karis is going in.
Focus. Karis found that angle. They do have the 1-for-1 trade now. Hope's going to pop the Featherstorm to Blade Caller. Is it up? No! WE find exactly what they want, and it's the heart of AL. They'll take a big old bite of it, and that's WE taking full control of game 2.
Mazel, we might be looking at a 2-0. WE are in full control of this game. That is a 5-kill Akali, 2,000 gold up for Karis in the mid lane. He has been massive in this game, in this series. And Cube as well on this Jace really kind of coming to play here as we get to see this replay. This looks like an okay engage angle from Kael. It's once again AL trying to be proactive, something they weren't in game number 1 with that Weaver's Wall. But Karis pretty easily able to disengage this. Vampire at this point is very tanky. Don't forget, he got a bunch of kills at the beginning of this game to kind of accelerate that tank build that he's going through. And when Taeyoon ends up coming in here and Monki and Cube are able to collapse, all of a sudden that damage and that safety is gone, and this turn just becomes so clean and so efficient from WE. That is full control of this game, even with the flash burned at the end. And now Flandre's in danger.
Flandre is 4-0, and he just had to get away from that fight. He's in a lot of hurt, as despite AL's best efforts, it feels like there's a little bit of weight on their shoulder, and it's not in the team comp. As we take a look at the map state right now, it is full favor of WE. About a minute until that next dragon. We've had a heap of Ocean Souls here, and it's going to be yet another one tonight, and would benefit WE so immensely, as they're going to TP preemptively here. Atacon is also on that side of the map.
I mean, this is such a PowerPoint right now. You noted it. 2 major objectives spawning right now at the same time as WE tries to secure the area. It becomes more and more difficult for AL to walk up and create these opportunities the more gold that WE get, because Vampire actually does a great job of zoning this out, and you can see that Tarzan feels nervous to go in because he can immediately get stunned up inside his own Cataclysm. So you have to make sure to be careful, but with these objectives being such high priority, you can't give over Soul Point, you can't give over Otacon. You need to be careful here.
We are getting closer and closer to that next item spike as well. I love this setup from WE. They're going to make bush plays here. They have a bit of a flank coming, but the Rift Herald play from AL, it's a distraction Carnifex. They're going to try to get this mid lane.
It's a great play here by AL, as long as they're able to get this off. They are able to get the crash, which is huge. Opens up a lot of opportunity, and it does give them some space to breathe around this river. But Dragon has spawned, and now the dance begins.
Monki chunked there early, as he does need to be careful with the health bar, but he's going to start up the dragon here, Kman. They're going to force the hand of AL.
This is huge. If WE can burn this down, it could be really, really problematic. Teleport coming in.
They need to get out. WE realize they're going to pull back off of the play. Maybe they just give this dragon over. TP on the backside of the fight. Do they know he's here? Karis with the flank. Kael gets bursted there by the shock blast of Cube, and now they're going to go back into the dragon pit.
That's their engage. The Rakan is half health. It's so difficult now to get into this pit. The dragon is going down, and AL are making the call to just take the mid lane turret. They're giving over Soul Point,
he's TPing,
and they're pushing down mid.
Oh, that's such a massive play from WE. Just ensuring their next play on the dragon in 5 minutes. And AL weren't even able to get much damage on the tier 2 mid, and Karis still has a flank. They're going to go in the fight as Solar Flare goes wide. Crescent Guard in the middle of everybody. He's blocking so much damage, but they focus on a Karis. Karis is the focus right now, but the shock blast, the damage is on a Flandre. Flandre was 4-0-4, and he's gone.
It's a masterclass once again from WE controlling the map, and they're not done. Karis looking. Isn't going to find anything with the ultimate. It's just going to disengage here, but it's a massive win. They're going straight to Otacon. You're absolutely right. He's already on it. Monki is. This is going to be 2 major objectives going to WE, and if you thought their lead was big before, look at it now.
And the neutral objective control WE have had over AL has been incredible to watch, but now they've overextended a little bit more as
Cube is here, though.
Cube. Cataclysm comes through. Are they going to get the Hammer Slam back? He has no exit tools. He has to give his life. The Atacon now in a 50-50 state as Tarzan goes for the kill on a Vampire. They go turn it. Karis just obliterates all of AL. Tarzan tried to make a play, but it doesn't matter.
Karis is styling on them. Tarzan trying to get to the Otacon, but will not have the opportunity. That is Otacon going to WE. It's another fight win.
Oh my God,
it looks like maybe another kill for Taeyoon here. Oh, man.
No way. The game 1 Andes are eating right now. WE in the last gasp effort. In the moment they need the momentum. Going into the playoff, going into the play-ins. This is how they do it. They dismantle AL piece by piece.
You can see the pieces getting dismantled in real time as you watch this. Vampire, great flash over the wall to keep himself safe. Cube gets trapped here. This is actually a really nice play from AL. The problem is that they don't really have anything else. They burned a lot of their tools to be able to capitalize on the Jace. When Tarzan flashes forward for this Leona, Monki sees that as his chance to obliterate the backline. And look at Karis' damage. It's just ridiculous. It's out of control at this point. The only scaling force on WE was this Akali, and boy, is he making use of it.
And for a guy who just a year ago was trying to find his feet in the system of the LCK and LCK Challengers, he has made a home here on WE. And while we won't have a little bit of attention to pay to him right now, AL pay a whole heap of attention to Cube and take him down. Now WE need a 4-man play in the top side of the map, try to defy this push that AL were getting.
Yeah, this is, it's a good pick. It's really a great pick, quite frankly, for them, because they get the bot turret because of that as well. It's a lot of gold going on Flandre. As much as we talk about this game kind of being out of control, this is a 4-1 and 4 Gwen. That can still really be a problem, and theoretically, you still have a very good comp to play around with AL if you can get this Xayah on board as well. It's just going to be a lot more difficult now with the Akali threat pretty much always looming on the back end, but it's all going to come down to the execution, and whether or not it's perfect from Karis so far, it's been pretty darn good.
So far, so good, but got to finish strong. We do have the 2 item spikes. We're working on thirds coming up. We have the at least Seekers for Karis, so he has some sustainability in the fights, or at least some prolonging. And the 10 stacks of Darkseal, not too shabby itself. Still, though, I mean, hope on 2.5 items. That's going to feel really good once he crests over to that third. And we're starting to see potentially some of that team fight setup for AL come to fruition.
Yeah, they're not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination. It certainly is not over. You need to continue to play well for WE. They've set themselves up to be in a good spot, but now it's about controlling the space around the Baron. We'll see if they want to try and prioritize it. Most notably, Soul is 1 minute away. It's Ocean Soul for this comp, for Xin Zhao, for Leona. We already got a taste of this earlier on in the day. It could be even more dangerous in this game.
Could indeed, but we have to take a look at the map state, the setup right now for both sides. We talk about the team fight potential. All good and well if Karis doesn't take your life from you before you know it. He's 7-1 on the Akali. He's got 60 CS over Shanks as a whole. He's got multiple levels on this mid lane matchup, almost 3 of them. And at this point, you can see as soon as he enters the fight, all of AL are turning their attention to him. So he needs to find a way to make these fights executed perfectly, if you will.
Yes, and he's shown that he has the capability to do so, but I think the important thing for AL is exactly what they're doing now, which is getting priority over the area first. They need to make sure they don't have to walk into Jace, Shock Blast,
this is bold.
Karis in threat.
This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Karis just baited the entirety of AL, but he might just die for it. He goes for the alcove game, and the needlework has been popped. Karis trying to get away from Flandre, who flashes onto him. He's getting out. He uses the Seekers. I just talked about it. He does end up going down, but it might just mean that WE wiped the fight. Overextended, caught with their hand in the cookie jar and getting it bit off is AL. The Pandas have not shown up in this series, and WE have.
It's just unbelievable stuff. It's everything committed to the Akali you talked about. Oh, what happens if the Akali gets caught? Well, if it takes 15 seconds to kill it, then all of a sudden you've got everything for WE as the Dragon has started. This is Soul.
Okay, they're going to go for it. Oh, the double knock up there. Hope is going to use the Featherstone. The Blade Caller, it's not enough. He's by himself. The last hope has been dashed of AL in the final regular season series. AL have been taken down a peg by WE. That's Soul. That is full map control and absolute momentum for WE to finish out this series.
It's massive for WE, and it really is just Karis, who buys so much time on this play. Flandre walking at him, hoping and praying to catch up to the Akali. He ends up missing the first proc, the second proc of ult. He flashes in, tries to get the third proc, gets a lot of the damage down, but because Karis is able to get back, he's in the perfect position to allow WE to capitalize. And once Monki gets in, once Cube gets in, you can even see Taeyoon on the back end of this fight, putting in a ton of work with the flash and dodging the seismic shove. WE is more than good enough to capitalize.
And, the Chad level, the aura, if you will, for WE to pick these 3 that they did on red side against AL and to have it work out in their favor. Now they're going to force the hand on the Baron, but it's an overextension for AL again. Karis tries to go and look at this. They all focus on him. Does he have Zanya? No, he just goes for the kill. Shanks, he's 3 levels down, and it doesn't even matter. Karis is just handing him one, and it is a fat L at this point. Back onto the Baron goes WE, and Karis still has an angle.
Yeah, it's still terrifying for AL. They're down a member in this fight. Karis might be low health, but he's certainly not low resource in terms of the damage that he has at his disposal. He's going to go here.
He wants it. Oh my god, he does so much. He got the shuriken flip on Hope. Hope gets targeted down. He's going to use the Feather Storm. The Blade Caller's not even going to come out. Karis is just throwing shurikens left and right. I thought we were watching Naruto, as that's a double kill for Karis, and they just wiped the fight. AL are aced, and WE might finally just beat another team that's not named FPX in the LPL Split 3 regular season.
Leave it to WE to step up in the last possible moment in the situation where everybody least expects them to figure it out. They grab the Baron here. It's a 10k gold lead. It's just masterful execution coming in from WE. As we see the setup here, so much attention is brought on by Karis that you have to basically ignore the Leona. That's not a good idea. Kael even diving into his own backline with his ultimate just to try and get the Akali. It's all in vain. The Talia just executed instantly, and with this Baron dance happening, AL know that if they give this over, the game is done, and so they have to stick around, but Karis is certainly not out of options just yet. He's 3 levels up on Tarzan, you know, even 2 levels up on Hope. The Shuriken landing on the Hope is massive, even with the ultimate. No shot. One more Q is going to do the trick. Karis, Monki, Taeyoon, everybody, they've been excellent.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that? I think I hear like the beeping of a construction truck. I think that AL are getting steamrolled right now, and W are sitting there all on top and having a wonderful time of it. They absolutely just get rolled in their own jungle.
And I think that might be it, Mazel. I think we might be seeing the siege of the base be taken here by WE. What a series. The underdogs, a team that everyone counted out. You can't count out WE. If they've proven anything, they have proven that. A team full of players rejected by other orgs. Back with confidence going into the play-ins.
Their other 2 series wins were against FPX, but this time against the Might that is one of the top 4 beasts of the LPL Group Ascend. They will 2-0 sweep anyone's legend. And I gotta say, Karis sat Shanks down in this game number 2.
Mid-diff? Mid-diff.
Absolutely.
Mid-diff?
1,000 times. I could even see it all over the chat, and I wouldn't even care.
It is just ridiculous. I mean, Karis might have just played the best game he's played in the LPL on this Akali. One of his signature picks from back in the day from DRX Challengers, if you can remember that, back in the LCK Challengers League. This is something we really knew him for, and boy, did he make use of it here by just completely gapping somebody that, you know, did really well internationally.
And we came into the day saying these teams, they have very different trajectories. After this, they're going to say adieu to each other. They're going to walk away, and there's 2 different paths they're going to take. It's like Squid Games, except it's been reversed. I mean, you think about the momentum for WE now moving into the playoff play-in, right? They will have tough competition, obviously, but to be able to go into EDG with this kind of momentum, with a series win like this, a dismantling of anyone's legend, one of the better macro teams in the LPL, comparatively now AL having to figure out what the hell just happened before they get into their playoff series. I think it's such a weird moment in the last 2 days of the LPL.
I mean, you want to talk about the most important result you can get, it's this. Like, there's nothing that could matter more than the confidence you built today, because you didn't just prove that you're good, you proved that you were very good. That on any given day that you can beat anybody in the league, including the defending champions. And as much praise as we want to, you know, shout over to EDG, you know, Rafa not on the cast, but as much praise as we want to give Edward Gaming, like, this is not a free win for them by any stretch. A matchup that looked like it could go one way, certainly has felt, at least in the public opinion, like it's flipped today.
Yeah, and I think the beautiful thing of all that, you want to know what it is? Because I love me, not drama necessarily, but tie-ins. How hilarious is in the final split of the LPL of 2025, after all the ups and downs that we've seen from all these rosters and the middling packs, everything going on with the EDG, Monki and Vampire return home for the fight one more time. One more moment with both teams' lives on the line. Whew, can't write it better than that. That's why I love the LPL, man.
How can you not be romantic about League?
Right? It's incredible. It's actually incredible. It's like it writes itself. But this series, dictated by Monki a lot of the way. A lot of the influence we saw in the early games, a lot of the influence we saw against Tarzan came from Monki playing confidently. And a confident Monki goes a long way, not in just evolution, but also in carrying some games.
Yeah, you can say that again, because, I mean, what we saw today out of Monki was absolutely ridiculous. The Poppy in Game 1, the Xin Zhao in Game 2. Let's not gloss over the fact that we both looked at this draft from WE and were puzzled going into Game number 2, and yet here they are. We talked about, oh, it needed to be the Xin Zhao. Well, it was. There you go. It was Monki playing incredibly well, putting the team on his back, and really allowing everything to get set up. You know, I'm not saying my take of him being a future MVP looks better after this series, but I certainly feel good about what I said now.
And I don't even know if I want to, but I feel like we have to, because this is the last time we'll see AL. What the hell, man? What was that? What did I just watch? For how long was that? Like 2 hours? What the hell?
Yeah, that is one of the worst performances I've seen this team make. They've had some bad ones over the course of this split. It's certainly not been consistent.
So good recently.
The problem is that the end of their split was supposed to be their get right time, right? Like they're facing WE, they're facing JDG, they're facing FPX. To drop this series and to do so by just getting outplayed, by being beaten 2-0 and it wasn't close, it's concerning. And you know what? Like, there are a lot of things to be worried about this team going into playoffs for. I think that their consistency is gone. You want to talk about a team that, you know, was lauded for their consistency? That is not there anymore. They have their highs. They need to fix their lows because right now it's not good enough.
It's just, like, it's tough because you can see the structure, the bones of it there, right? Like, especially the combinations of Tarzan and Kael constantly, I think, but it's always the fluctuation. I think Hope stays out of this conversation. Maybe I'm just putting a lot of the blame on Shanks and Flandre when we've seen better of these guys, right? Like, Shanks was maybe one of the best performing members in Split 2 in a lot of the cases for AL. In Split 1, it was Flandre literally carrying games for this team, but it matters in the long run what you do. Yes, Split 2 championship is nice. You want to make it to Worlds. You want to have an impact at Worlds. And I think when you have this kind of experience, when you have this kind of moment where AL are faltering at big moments like that, or at least towards the end of the split, getting ready for those big moments, it brings some of those question marks that you don't want to have for a top team in one of the top leagues in the world.
You know, I hate to make this comparison to themselves, but we have to remember 3 of these members were on this roster last year, and they were nowhere near a title contender. At times, it felt like they could compete, you know, early on in the regular season. They end up being a team that is firmly in 6th or 7th. They add Tarzan, everything ends up working out. They win the league. If Tarzan isn't going to be a superstar, if he isn't going to be the best jungler in the league, we're looking at a team that's fighting for 4th place. Like, genuinely, in terms of where they are sitting at, there are so many things to fix for anyone's legend. I think they are good enough to figure that out, and we know they are. We saw them be the most consistent team through the beginning of the year, but I would be lying if I told you I wasn't concerned about what they would look like, especially, you know, when you see something like this.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't want to harp too much on it. It is the final series for them. You can maybe chalk it off. What really matters is what they do in playoffs. So we'll see if that all culminates into anything. I mean, I'm sure this is going to be a little bit of a kick in the ass for them, no doubt, and trying to figure out what Tabe wants to do to learn from this moment. But all the praise goes to WE, and so we start thinking about who gets that MVP for the squad. It is game-based, right? So I don't know. Like, Monki gets it for the overall for sure.
Yeah.
It has to be Karis. Right?
It has to be.
He was literally 1v9ing in this game.
I will say it once more, a mid-diff, a bit of a mid-diff in this game.
Absolutely.
I mean, the solo kill on the top side we almost forget about just because it was, you know, so early in the game and there was so much chaos. But this guy wasn't just capitalizing on everybody else creating advantages. He was the advantage for the team. And in a matchup that and a lot of other people can say, oh, you know, like, Akali's not easy into Taliyah. There are plenty of ways to go wrong. And for him to win it so convincingly, so hard, to me, it's an obvious call for Karis.
Yeah, it should absolutely go his way. And, you know, rightfully so, as we'll be getting that here soon. just thinking about when he picked it, how they picked it, so much confidence in this draft for WE. I don't know if they felt something in the moment in game number 1, but they just absolutely took control of it. It's in the final game of WE's regular season. They didn't win a lot of series. They did win a lot of games. It's still Karis' first MVP.
Yeah, I mean, Karis, he's a turning point for WE. What did we say at the beginning of the show? Monki's great. You know, there are times where Vampire can step up and really help. It's the surrounding core. You need to figure it out. They more than figured it out today. Cube incredible throughout this series. Karis was excellent throughout this series. If that can happen, WE can still be a threat.
Yep, absolutely. And I do believe we have the updated standings ready to go to see exactly how things are panning out with one final day, our makeup day, to be decided. Still, I love to see how things have panned out. I love to see the differentiation in the kind of the tiers that we've had so far in the league for Split 3, in the most important split of all, and the fact that, you know, Weibo Gaming were able to secure that 5th place finally tonight with their win.
Yep, everything locked in. All the seeding is done. It's all playing for Pride tomorrow, but Pride matters a lot right now. Confidence matters a lot. There still is a lot to play for, and every single team that you see on your screen. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's true. Second place is on the line. So, you know, a lot to choose from in terms of just, you know, what you want to prioritize tomorrow. I'm just so excited, Mazel. I'm so excited for the LPL.
I just think it's so crazy, and it's just happenstance, it's circumstance, whatever you want to call it. The fact that we have a makeup day of IGPLG and it ends up being the decider for that second place, which matters a lot because we're choosing in descending order your opponent after the playoff play-in. So yeah, it's very awesome. I love to see how the LPL always has thrilling storylines to finish out the year, and especially in this Split 3. It's been a long year, but everything's paying out big. One more day of the regular season there. It's been a pleasure, Kman. Before we get going, though, we got to give one big special thank you and shout out to our Elite Coffee supporters, Aaron Soup, Mung, Forest Without, and owners of Silmaril. Their pledged financial contribution, if I can say the words right, goes to leveling up the broadcast on a daily basis and helps pay all the volunteers that spend all their time trying to deliver you an LPL English unofficial product. I got to say, it's been a pleasure here, Kman. I'm glad we got to end out on some bangers. It didn't go to 6 like I wanted it to, but I told everybody going into this day, I was like, one of these days has to go to 6, so we're hoping for tomorrow to end on a bang. But that's it from LPL English. Got to give a huge shout out to Rare Adam behind the scenes, our socials, and our mod team for picking up all the slack between the bits here, and that's going to be it from us. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, and we'll see you on Summoner's Rift.